fans go crazy when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle release their blockbuster book. Have you read the book yet? Is this just an ordinary book, or is it a big secret uncovered, revealed for the very first time? Well, folks, please watch this video until the very end. We're going to carefully and thoroughly analyze everything for you that not everybody can necessarily realize. Sunday Times best-selling author and royal critic Lady Colin Campbell has released a brand new edition of her book Meghan and Harry: The Real Story, and fans are going crazy over its release. The foreword of the book describes it as an analysis of what happens when a vulnerable male falls in love with an ambitious doyenne, and it also highlights the clash of two civilizations, mores and attitudes. So that's basically the who and why of the book. Now, Harry and Meghan have ruined their own reputations with their hateful words and actions. It seems like the two dum-dums cannot get it through their thick skulls that they are no longer working royals. They still act like they are. They're always going to be outsiders when it comes to the family. And I mean, they want to be part of the Hollywood set, but they're also outsiders there. Of course, only time will tell what happens in the future, but they're not going to play any part whatsoever in the future of the royal family. William is going to make sure of that. Maybe they'll be able to weasel their way back into Charles's good books, but the ladies of Windsor, they're going to tell a very different story. Now, I've started listening to the book on Audible for free, and I gotta say, it is incredibly well written. It flows well, and it's got a lot of absolutely scathing details about Meghan Markle. They did a lot of work digging up her past before she met Harry, and also what she did after the marriage to the royal family. It is a fascinating read. It has sources named within and so much personal experience by Lady C and other insiders. It's not very good, though, when somebody puts your life under the microscope and publishes a tell-all book, is it, Meghan and Harry? And of course, if it's not true, they're going to sue. So let's wait and see if they do. And then I guess they should apologize to Lady C if they don't. In an interview, Lady C said that the royal family knew that Meghan Markle was not cut out for her royal role, but Harry told them that they would be seen as prejudiced if they didn't go through with the whole ordeal, and that if she had been white, it would have been a different story altogether. So basically, he pulled the racism card. Now, there's something that's supposed to be revealed, something legal in April or May, and maybe it's going to be the truth about the invisible children. Now, Meghan Markle has never thought to sue Lady C. She said some really strong stuff that was harmful to Meghan, but there was no lawsuit. Interesting, to say the least. Essentially summarize part of Meghan Markle's life like this. She came from LA, she put on air, she thought that she was a lot more important than she really is, and now she's reduced to trying to sell jam. This is the story of Meghan Markle. A more blatant lie is when Lady C alluded that the royal family realized that Meghan Markle didn't have a good character, and it didn't have anything to do with racism. But Harry and Meghan insisted that they be allowed to marry, or else Harry and Meghan were going to accuse the royal family of being racist, which they ended up doing anyway. At the end of the day, though, Harry's unfortunate choice of wife is not his only problem. He has already shown that he lives in a fantasy world. I mean, think about all the lies and the exaggerations in Spare. Harry's birth stories have been debunked by medical specialists in public too, and it's no wonder the royal family has distanced themselves from Meghan and Harry and just allowed them to basically continue to dig their own hole. The truth has already been proven. They were not kicked out of the monarchy. They were plotting and scheming to run away to California even before they got married. And they even had meetings with U.S. media reps around that time. And they set up their Sussex Royal because they thought they were going to be able to market their royal titles. And they thought they were going to be able to sell all kinds of stuff, all without the knowledge of the late Queen. So their little scheme to commercialize themselves and also still be part-time working royals, of course, came undone when the Queen told them that they were not allowed to be half-in, half-out royals. They had to choose. And that's when they ran. First they ran off to Canada and then later to California. Now that was their choice though. The Sandringham Summit was just a meeting to discuss and agree with the terms of their departure. The fact is, if the brothers could reach some kind of agreement, then maybe it would lessen tensions on all sides. They don't need to be all lovey-dovey, but maybe they would give Harry a place to live if he wants to return to the UK. Of course, he's going to have to find some job outside of the firm, and that's quite a dilemma, I guess, for him. Neither he nor Meghan have any talents or skills. They can't dance, they can't sing. I mean, they're not likable people, and that's something Harry and Meghan need to think long and hard about. So I think if Harry and Meghan were to return to the UK, they would turn into stalkers. We would see them everywhere we see the working royals trying to get a photo in or standing like a street trader selling their wares. It is in their DNA. But that's going to be a very long list indeed. It would be comprised of most people residing in the UK and also many people living in the Commonwealth countries too. These are the people who will say, no, we don't want Harry and Meghan here. An interesting theory I also heard recently is that maybe there's not any feud between the brothers. Maybe they're just trying to cover up the fact that they were kicked out of the UK after the Sandringham Summit. It wouldn't work anyway. I mean, the only thing that is going to make those two happy is for them to get their own way all the time, and that's never going to happen. Harry, like Meghan, has already proven that he is not to be trusted. He betrayed his own family with so many lies in front of the whole world. And I'm sure they have some really damp cottage on the border of some far-flung royal estate ready and waiting for Harry. But anyway, back to this book about Harry and Meghan. Now it's at number 56 on the Amazon book charts. It is selling very well. Meghan's supporters are exposed in the Daily Mail. Her PR is not going well at all. I would say the book is doing great, especially considering that it hasn't even been released for an entire day yet, and so far it has only been published in hardback. £27 a copy. It sure doesn't come cheap, but I don't think it really matters because I think people want to know the truth. I mean, the current sales obviously indicate there is a serious appetite for the truth about those traitors. And it's about time that they get a taste of their own medicine. I've just always loved how Lady C has consistently and relentlessly held Meghan and Harry to account through her YouTube videos and news appearances, even while they were still working members of the royal family, as she exposed many of their shenanigans in the book Meghan and Harry, The Real Story, published in 2020. So I think when we consider all that, £27 is a pretty good price for a copy of the book. Lady C has done her research. I mean, she has impeccable sources. We can depend on her to tell the truth and show her receipts, unlike the author of that recently published book that was full of lies and assertions and failed. She deserved to be rewarded for all her hard work in exposing the Carparkles and holding them accountable for all their shenanigans. Well done, Lady C. So another thing is Harry did not realize just how privileged he was, and he carried a big chip on his shoulder when it comes to being the spare. Harry and Meghan just wanted all the glory and the privilege of royalty, but they didn't want to have to put in any of the hard work, and of course, they didn't want any of the responsibility. I do believe this book contains some truth bombs that are going to have Meghan and Harry shaking in their boots, and this is coming just a few weeks after Meghan Markle's catastrophic launch of American Riviera Orchard. This just piles on the ridicule, humiliation, and shame on those two. But it's just like that other royal family member who believes that he has a right to do whatever he wants to do, showing his ignorance, his naivete, his complete disregard for other people. He has been spoiled and overindulged his entire life, and I think you know who I'm talking about. At this point, no wonder Harry and Meghan have been shunned by high society types and the royal family in the UK, and also by the A-listers in the States. It's with good reason. Now, Harry is one of the most privileged men of any generation. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and a big chip on his shoulder in spite of having every privilege and every opportunity imaginable. The people of the UK bowing and admiring him since he was a child, that has been Harry's life. And then came that previously unknown Z-list mattress actress, Meghan Markle. They are so incredibly toxic, the two of them together. I mean, they're living in a mansion that can house hundreds, and at the same time, they're going to tell us we need to reduce our carbon footprint. Meanwhile, they're free to take private jets all over the world. They're trying to establish their own royal family in the US, but they're lacking in grace and they have no class. Years spent trashing the royals, all this drama they stir up, all these stories about their toxic views follow everywhere they go. So, how could any business or real celebrity want to align themselves with two odious people like Harry and Meghan? There's just negative press about them everywhere you look. Obviously, all the years spent in the royal family with everybody bowing and running after everything he wanted has turned Harry into an absolute a-hole. He is convinced that he's better than everybody else, and he believes that he's the center of the universe and he should be treated accordingly. So why would he ever accept the reality that for most people he just looks like a spoiled, overindulged man baby with a very low IQ? What Meghan wants, Meghan gets, is what Harry said. Well, that pretty much tells us all we need to know. I mean, honestly, excess privilege and wealth can really overinflate one's ego. There's a big difference, though, between fame and notoriety. Either they can't comprehend that, or more likely, they just don't care. The good news, though, is that the royal family is done with those two traitors, and I think people all over the world are waking up to all the horrible things Harry and Meghan have done. And look, maybe it looks like so far they've gotten off scot-free, but I don't think that's going to continue. I do believe if nobody else does, God is going to punish those two who betrayed their families and have done so many awful things. One day, they are going to pay the price for everything they did to their family and their country, and it's not going to be a price they want to pay. All right, folks, and that was our analysis of how royal fans went crazy when the blockbuster book about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was released. What do you think of this book, and what do you think of the traitorous couple, Meghan and Harry? Please leave a comment to let us know. We're going to be happy and grateful if you continue to support our channel with a like, share, and subscribe.